Oh, man. I sure am sad that Jacob's missing, and he was sick, and then I think the mafia got him, and, I mean, whew. It happens. It happens.
Oh, Luke, I finally found you.
You found me, Jacob? Where were you?
They dug a grave for me, and they put me in there, and they said, not until you say what you did in '02 do we release you. And I said I didn't do anything in '02. But they didn't believe me, so they just put me in the grave. But then, luckily, this guy, he was trying to, he said he was just trying to make sure the graves were pretty safe. And he had a lot of gold on him. I don't know why. And he said, I'll let you out. So he let me out. And then, he said, give me all your cash, which I thought was a little weird, but I gave it to him because he helped me, So, yeah.
Okay.
So we've been reading your Bible, Luke.
Well, I think first we gotta cut the bit. Guys, just so you know, that was a joke. Jacob did not get buried alive and then get grave robbed.
It was a YouTube video.
It was all in Minecraft. But no, Jacob's back. He was sick, but now he's back. So that's
Guess
good.
who's back? Back again.
Well, don't sing too much more. I don't want to copyright claim. Or you just say a bunch of swear words. Actually, I think most of that intro is fairly clean. I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of Eminem. All right. Well, today, speaking of somebody who was buried in the grave and came back, it's Lazarus. Technically, he wasn't buried. He was in a tomb, but,
We call him Laz.
Yeah.
Cool
No,
nicknames.
only Jonathan Rumi calls him that in The Chosen. All right. So, we're going to be in John chapter 11. That's the book of John in the New Testament. I'm going to be reading out... Let me speak real quick. I'm going to be reading out of the NIV translation.
That is the N with the I and the V.
Yes. And then I think I'll start in John 11, verse 15. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. And then he said to his disciples, let's go back to Judea. But Rabbi, they said, a short while ago the Jews there tried to stone you, and yet you are going back. Jesus answered, are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble, for they see by this world's lights. It is when a person walks at night that they stumble, for they have no light. After he had said this, he went on to tell them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I'm going there to wake him up. The disciples replied, Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better. Jesus had been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. So he told them plainly, Lazarus is dead. Man, he really spoke it plainly. And for your sake, I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him. Then Thomas, also known as Didymus, said to the rest of the disciples, let us also go, that we may die with him. Interesting choice of Thomas.
I like how John goes, Jesus was saying to Lazarus' death, but the disciples didn't know that because they were dumb.
Yeah, and he was there. And John's writing this down. He's like, man, we couldn't sleuth that one out. All right. On his arrival, this is verse 7.
Oh, just like how Jesus keeps on saying, I'm going to die. And they're like, Jesus,
you're like, so Jesus, you're so funny about that death on the cross thing.
You're so funny. I'm going to die on the cross.
Yeah, he really did spell it out for him a lot of times.
I am.
Guys, he died a lot like how I'm going to die soon. And they're like, oh, no, wait, what? So
That's a metaphor, right?
Anyway, John 11, verse 17. On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany, which is where Lazarus lived, was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Mary and Martha to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. Lord, Martha said to Jesus, if you had been here, my brother would have not died. But I know that I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha answered, I know he will rise again at the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? Yes, Lord, she replied. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, and who is to come into the world. After she said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. The teacher is here, she said, and is asking for you. When Mary heard this, she got up quite quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered into the village, but he was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house, comforting her, noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing that she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would have not died." Crazy that they're both saying the same thing. They must have compared notes.
Twinsies.
I know. I wonder if they were twins. That would have made sense.
Makes sense.
When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her were also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see my Lord." They replied. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across the entrance. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there's been a bad odor, for he has been in there for 4 days." Then Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" And so they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, Jesus called out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen, and a cloth wrapped around his face. Jesus said to them, "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." And then, I'll read the next verse. "Therefore many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary and had seen what Jesus did believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done." And then you can go on. You can keep reading on your own.
I do find it really funny how people are like, he healed a blind man, so why couldn't he heal this guy? And then they're like, but you can't heal him, right?
Yeah. Oh man, he's dead. Oh man. Oh well, we believe you're God, but
you can't heal that guy. He's dead.
I don't know. He's dead, dude. Like, man made my guy Jesus literally did the loaves and the fishes and all sorts of stuff.
But as soon as it's like,
oh, this one might be too tricky for him.
He's dead.
It's like really
I think he healed it off a dead person before that.
Yeah, but they didn't. That one was a little less public. That was like,
shh.
Yeah. They were like, yeah. Well, that was like a personal thing. That was like Jairus' daughter or whatever his name is. But
we love Jairus.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thanks for listening today, and
I didn't do anything in 02.
Yeah, Jacob didn't do anything in 02, and I'd like to say thank you to our Patreon supporters, Sam Shockmav, JJ Sebastian, Josiah Keller, and Joel Webb. Thank you for supporting the show. If you want to support just like they do, head on over to patreon.com/The Conspiracy Consultants. I guess Jacob isn't joining in with me on that one today. I guess he's kind of tired, just like Lazarus was when he fell asleep. He died, guys.
Yeah, I was also going to make...
That was a great euphemism.
Yeah, like,
Jesus is like, he fell asleep, guys.
He was like...
They were like, oh, the sleep will be good because he's sick. And then he's like, guys, he's dead.
He's dead.
I was trying to be nice.
I was trying to do a metaphor, and it seems like you guys really suck at those.
They do. The disciples were really bad at metaphors. Jesus will make like a very clear metaphor.
And then he will make a clear statement.
Then they'll be like, I wonder what he meant. And then he'll explain it, and they'll be like, I wonder what he meant this time.
And then when he's not making a metaphor, he's like, I'm going to die. They're like, that was a metaphor.
That was a metaphor, guys. A metaphor.
I don't know. I think the disciples were like, since we didn't understand, I don't know. I think they were just having trouble for like that 1 year when everybody was like that second year, everybody was just like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, the middle year. All right.
The Sermon on the Mount fried their minds too much.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. And, we'll see you on Monday. All right. See ya.